Hey guys, this is Scott with the 2024 Subaru Forester named Forsty. So today I'm going to demo for you how to take apart the front dash cluster, the AC vents, to get access to the stereo, also to get access to the USB panel, the little light up front there. I'm going to take apart the front console, the shift lever, and I'm going to kind of show you how to do this. I've had several people ask me questions and ask for a video, so I thought now is about time to do that video. So let me get in and we'll get started. All right, so I want to point out that you can do this with very simple tools. I have a pry tool. I do like to use gloves for when I take this top panel off here. And then I will use a screwdriver at times, especially for the pin clip on the shift lever. All right, so usually when I disassemble, the first thing I do is remove these two air vents. We're going to expose this front top console here. This is two pieces, this front piece and second piece. Typically when I pull this off, it's going to come out in one piece. And then you can separate the two once you get it out onto the bench. So you want to start on the AC vents by prying this top edge up just a tiny bit, enough to get your fingers underneath it. And then you're going to pull the top back straight towards you. That releases the pins up top. You need to do the same for the bottom here. And then, so I don't like to work it too far on the top. And then you take the bottom, it comes right out. So there's one side. Let's do the other side. Plastic pry tool, get your fingers behind it, pulling straight back to the back of the car. Okay, and then get low here. You can even grab the air vent and then pull straight back. 1, 2, 3, 4 pins. As you can see, I painted gold on this trim panel here. This piece will actually come out. And you'll have to remove these little pins and clips, as you can see where those are. If you look close once you get it off, you can do that. You want to take this piece out and then you can paint it, put it back in. The clips where this fits in, these two are solid clips, but there's a couple little pins. You'll have to shear the heads off the pins, and then you can use some hot glue or super glue to get those back in so it's nice and tight. All right, the second thing you want to do is you want to pull out this top panel here. As I mentioned, it'll come out usually in one piece. You want to lift this up slightly and then pull straight back. This is the one I like to use gloves for. And many people ask me, like, what's it take to pull? It's really hard. I have a hard time doing it. It just takes courage. You got to do it a few times and you got to pull hard. All of these, there's nothing I'm going to pull off today that requires any screws. I'm just going to pull off all the stuff that's held in by pins. All right, so lift up a little, pull straight back. Two pieces. Here's the pins that are all held in. This one's really important. This is kind of the guide when you go to put it back in. You want to make sure you get this inserted correctly. So I always start with that piece, get it in the proper alignment, and then you can just push it back in and it's done. All right. With that piece off, you now have exposure. You can do most of the work up here. You can remove your head unit. 4 screws holding in the head unit. I'm not going to take that out today. Okay, the next step I like to do is I like to get the shift handle out of the way. First thing you do is take the boot, quick jerk, pull it down. You're not going to see this well with the camera, but you need the screwdriver or a little U-shaped pry tool pin. And there's a U-clip pin up front. You want to make sure the car is in park and off. Always a good idea to have the battery disconnected when you're working with the electronics. So some people may ask, why would you want to pull this off or expose this? Well, if you install a base knob like I have here, or if you want to paint this trim ring, which I did here, or if you just need to clean, if you spilled and you want to pull this apart or replace an electronic, this is how you would do it and why. Here's the clip that we took off. So let's set that aside. shift lever comes straight out and up. It's now out of your way. You can get a lot of access to this panel just by pulling this out. This is one that people get confused on and think it's really hard, but it's not. You just, again, held in by clips. I'm just pulling down on the knobs a little bit just to release the top. And then I'm going to pull straight back here towards the back of the car. Right, let me see if I can get the pry tool. All right, there's one side. The other side comes right out. There is one harness connector. This is done and out of your way. What I really like to do back in here, I installed footwell lighting. The OEM kit that comes is not very bright, but it does fit in the proper location. It's also a little bit difficult to wire up, and I don't prefer it. I like to use an aftermarket. It's half the price, and it's brighter. In fact, I have 2 LED aftermarket lights put right here. And what I like to tap is the wire for the factory. So for the factory LED, I pulled it out and I'm running wires. So I'm running a USB cable. This goes all the way up through the A column to the top. It comes out right here. This is where I mount my phone. I got a radar detector and I can charge my phone. And this is also on the auxiliary port, so I can auxiliary in if I need to, but I usually Bluetooth. So I pulled that light out. I tucked it behind. See if I can pull it out enough for you to see it. But what's great about this, you may not be able to see it well, is there are 2 wires into this that I will T-tap. And then you T-tap that and go directly into your aftermarket footwell lighting system. And it has full control on the dimmer. So as you would dim your factory OEM, you'll also provide dimming features to your footwell lighting. So it's pretty cool. Let me see if I can power that on. Nope, I don't have the key there, so it won't power on for me to show you. But again, now you have lots of space to work in here. You can run the footwell lighting through here. You can add, these are the extra little S-type from AutoZone that I use. Little LEDs, and I've got 2 LED square pods located right here. Again, very simple and easy, and the wires are tucked in out of the way. The controller's up here out of the way, so very easy to do, and you just tap those 2 wires. If I recall right, there's a brown and a white, and it looks like, you'd have to look at my specs online, but I believe the white is positive and the brown is the negative. Again, you can use a tester and test that out yourself. Okay, so the next piece, I want to remove this center console here. Many people think you have to take the entire box out. You do not. You don't have to undo any screws from here at all. This may be hard to see on the camera, but when I take the center piece out, it's going to disconnect from here. And then it's going to come up these sides, and it's actually going to disconnect right here. And that whole panel will come up. You turn it around, and you can unplug some of the electrical switches, take it to a bench. You can clean it up, work on it. You can drill holes through it and install aftermarket products. And you can replace these switches. Also, I see, as you can see, I painted the ring here gold. This bezel does not separate. It is one piece. So I literally had to tape that off, and I did a pretty good job, as you can see from a distance. I had to tape that off everywhere in order to spray paint that. And I've got the X mode just painted over there. I didn't re-put that decal. To me, it doesn't need to be done, but I do like that color pop, as well as doing the color on the steering wheel here. Okay, so let's get this one up. I like to use a screwdriver for this. You just want to pry this top edge. In fact, let's start first with the rubber. This, you just pull up to expose these 2 hooks, and then pull back towards the car to release these front hooks. You can't pull that straight up at the front. You have to slide it back. Okay, now you want to pry this. Okay, and then there's one clip here, one clip over here. So again, going straight up towards the roof of the car, and then pull back. Nope. Up again. So all 4 pins are straight. All 4 pins go straight up. So this is the one that people get stuck in and think is really complicated. It's not. I'm just going to start at the front edge. That's why you need that piece out. Lift this up. Work your way back. You can see my console is actually pretty dirty. Okay. Pull right there. Look where it's separated. So 2 pins right here. It's separated from the box. You didn't have to remove any of it all. When I'm doing this quickly, this is 3 to 5 minutes. And if I just do this piece and not the other stuff, 2 minutes. Really quick and easy. Okay, this is where you have all the wiring, and I'm not going to undo mine, but you just go to those switches, you're going to unwire them. And if you're able to get this, let me see. Let me take this big harness off. All right. Let me just undo it. So there's actually only 2 harnesses that you have to disconnect to get this whole panel out. And once you get this out, you can remove some screws to remove the under tray and the boot. This is where I got this piece out so that I can spray paint. You can also see these switches. That's why you need to be careful here and not, many people say you just pry this up. That is not correct. You will break this switch if you try to pry it up. You really need to release the screws underneath. A lot of screws holding this stuff in here. And you can pull these wire harnesses out, get it out of the way. You can clean this easily with Q-tips and whatever if you spilled stuff in there. Pretty straightforward. So I appreciate you guys joining my video today. Putting it back together is just the reverse process. It goes just as quick. The other reminder is don't be afraid to take this apart. I've had the whole console out. I've done all kinds of work. I've run wires and electronics through here. So you can certainly do it all. And the thing to remember is every single harness and pin can only go back in one spot. You can't mess it up. You can't put it somewhere else. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't belong. It's that simple. Pretty easy to do this with. Okay, thank you all very much. Have a good day.